A lot of people have gastritis, reflux, or heartburn, and it's very common for people to have these diseases for long periods of time. And the only thing that they can do is take a bunch of medications such as omeprazole, lansoprazole, or pepsin, or all those acid blockers that you can get on the market and that are very common. But the thing is, when you use them, the only thing that you're making is worsen the things. I'm going to tell you something. I'm from gastritis and reflux for like 14 years. It started when I was maybe 12 years old, and I took medications such as omeprazole for 12 or 14 years every single day because the heartburn was uncontrollable and it was very, very uncomfortable for me. So the thing is that this is very common for people. But once I started realizing how the stomach works, and once I started realizing that if the stomach works this way and the treatments that we use as physicians go the other way, then I started realizing there is something, how about if I recover the original function? So we need to remember how the stomach works. The stomach is that first like huge bag that you have when you swallow. Everything comes down through your esophagus and it comes to a very like large bag that you have in it, that it's called your stomach. The stomach has the function of like chew or macerate all the food. After you chew them in your mouth, macerate the food, so then it can go to your small bowel and you start doing all the assimilation of the nutrients that you need. The stomach also has very important things inside, and we're going to talk about it, that it helps break all those structures in the most minimal structure possible so you can assimilate them in the small bowel. In your stomach, we have like three big structures. First of it, it's the acid. It's very important in the stomach. We tend to think that we need to cut the acid, but no, the stomach has an acid and it's very important because acid especially helps protein, so you can break protein, and once you break the protein you have amino acids, and those amino acids are the ones that you're gonna end up assimilating in your bowel. Underneath the acid, you have the mucus. That mucus is produced by the stomach, and the stomach needs to produce that mucus, so you're gonna separate the acid from the stomach tissue. So it's gonna be protected, like when you have wood in your floor and you put that protection, so if you spoil something in the floor, it's not gonna stain. Or as you have your skin and underneath the rest of the tissues. So you need to have that mucus production from the tissue of your stomach so you can have that protection from the acid. So you have the acid, the mucus, and then you have the stomach tissue. So you're gonna have that protection. For you to have that, you need to take into account that you need to have an appropriate acid production. And the appropriate acid in the stomach is very, very acid. Let's recall from when we were in school. And we remember that there was a balance in between acid and something that was non-acid or alkaline. That goes from 0 to 14. So when everything that is from 1 to 7, it's acid, 7 it's neutral, and from 7 to 14, it's something that it's alkaline. That's called the pH balance. If you go more close to 1, it's more acid. If it goes more to 7, it's still acid, but it's less acid. So the normal acid in the stomach, it's in between 1 and 2. And you, please doubt of everything that I'm saying, please go and check the physiology book. Even though if you're not a physician, it doesn't matter. I'm giving you a strategy so you can recover from gastritis, reflux, heartburn naturally, even though if you're not a physician, even though if you're taking medications for years. So the thing is, if the stomach, the normal acid, it's between 1 and 2, let's say 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, why do we break up the acid thinking that it's what we need to do? And let's remember something. When you eat, you have the acid becomes less acid, and it comes, let's say, to 4. And in 20 minutes, you need to recover the acid back in between 1 and 2. When you do that, you still remain with the acid, the mucus, and the gastric tissue intact. You're gonna remain with that. But when you start eating wrong, you start eating a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar, a lot of bread, pasta, all these refined sugars. You start eating tons of coffee, all those highly refined and processed foods. You will end up having a gastric acid that it's gonna be in between 4 and 5. When you have that, you cut the production of the good amount of acid and you cut the production of the mucus. So what you end up having is that the gastric tissue is going to be exposed with no protection. And if it has no protection, it's going to be burned all the time because the protection that it had before, now you don't have it anymore. So what we as physicians have made for a lot of years is to say, I'm going to cut the acid of the stomach. So I'm going to give you a medication that is going to cut completely the acid of the stomach. So I'm going to bring you not to 4 or 5 that it's still acid and it's going to burn, but I'm going to bring you to, 7, 8, 9 in the pH. What happens when you have the pH being alkaline? The thing is, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't burn. You could still have reflux. You could still be coughing all night because you feel the reflux, but it's not going to be burning because you're going to have alkaline reflux and you're going to think that it's perfect. And that's why people take medications for like omeprazole or ranitidine or all those that are just the same thing for years and years and years, because they bring the pH to an alkaline way. But the thing is, when the stomach has the good pH between 1 and 2, it works, but it doesn't hurt. When you have an acid that it's still acid in between 6.5 or 7 and 4 and 3, it's still acid, but it doesn't work, but it burns a lot. But when you have a stomach that it's alkaline, the thing is that it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't work. And we as physicians have thought or that for years that that's the spot to be, and that is completely wrong. What do you need to do? What do you need to do to have a good stomach? And also you could think, what's the problem of having an alkaline stomach? What's the deal? The deal is, if you don't have the good amount of acid, you're going to break down protein. If you don't break protein into amino acids, you cannot absorb or assimilate the good amount of protein that you need. And having protein in your body, it's very, very, very important. You won't assimilate zinc, selenium, that are very important for your immune system, but are also very important for the production of thyroid hormones. If you don't have protein, and if you don't have the right amount of zinc and selenium, you won't have good thyroid hormones. And if you end up with a thyroid problem, no one is going to go and see if your stomach is working well. If you don't have the good amount of acid, you won't assimilate vitamin D. You won't assimilate calcium, so you can end up with osteoporosis after a bunch of years after taking these medications for your stomach. So it's a big problem. What can you do? Now that you know how it works, what we need to do is to start recovering the acid. You need to start recovering the acid so you can make that loop, that 20-minute loop in between where when you eat, you get a little bit less of acid, then you recover very fast. So things you can do, you can add lemon into your water. When you drink lemon water, you're going to start drinking acids in your diet, and when you start drinking acids in your diet, it's going to be something very helpful. You could also add if you're tolerating well lemon or lemon water, you can add apple cider vinegar into your water. Again, that is going to eventually start helping you produce or bringing your stomach back into the pH that it needs to be. And then once you're there, you're going to start producing again the mucus and the right amount of acid. That's what you need to do. So you can start doing that during the day, before your meals, after your meals, not during the meal, before, after, or during the day. People might say, oh, whenever I drink lemon water or vinegar water, I get heartburn or I get irritated. And yes, when you're in that intermediate of the acid from being alkaline back to being acid, remember that you don't have mucus to be protecting the gastric tissue. So what do you need to do? You need to give your body something for protection. Something you can use that is very useful is aloe vera. Aloe vera, you can get them anywhere. Get natural aloe vera from the supermarket. What you can do is you can just peel it, get only the crystal from the inside, put it in the blender, blend it with lemon water, and you will have like a lemonade that's going to be a little bit more dense. That's it. If you keep on drinking that during the day, aloe vera is going to be very, very protective and anti-inflammatory for your stomach once you're in that transition from being alkaline to being back on the acid. Trust me, it works. It really works. There are some supplements that are not the part of this video that we can discuss that can help you to make that process more fast and that you can regain that more fast. If you are taking medications for years, what you can do, and this is a recommendation that I can give you, but it's not a treatment, so it's up to you for you to make it, is try to use the medication that you've been taking for years, not daily, but once you have symptoms. Remember that you're in here and you need to come back here. So let's say you started drinking lemon water with aloe vera and you're trying walking. Ooh, it hurt. Okay, let's go back. You started walking. Ooh, it hurt again. Let's go back. So take them only when it's necessary. You're gonna see eventually that during the days you started not daily, but maybe it passed 2 days. Wow, now it's not. Then you started all over again. Then it's 3 days. Wow, I took it again because I felt the symptoms. Then, wow, it passed a week. Then eventually you'll see that you don't need it anymore. That those symptoms went away and maybe they came back whenever you had a large meal or you ate pizza with beer or something like that. What can you do when that happens? What's the thing? Don't go back to the medication that you took. Go back to remembering that what you need to do is take a large amount of acid so your body recovers the acid fast and you won't have the symptoms. So that's it. If you like the video, please remember to hit the like button. Once you hit the like button, please remember that the best way to support me with these videos is to subscribe, and please hit the bell so you can receive notifications every time we make a new video.